You've seen tanks roll through battlefields, but you never imagined armored monsters so colossal they dwarf entire buildings. Built to carry nuclear missiles across frozen wastelands. Designed with naval cannons that could sink battleships. And engineered to fly through the sky while weighing dozens of tons. These mechanical titans have been crushing terrain and defying physics for decades in classified military operations. And most people have never witnessed their true scale. If you're into raw engineering power, military history, or that feeling when steel meets impossible ambition, buckle up, because the final beast is so massive, it'll leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about armored warfare. The MRAP Cougar 8x8 represents modern warfare's answer to the deadliest battlefield threats. This 45-ton behemoth wasn't built for speed or stealth. It was engineered for one purpose: survival. In the harsh combat zones of Iraq and Afghanistan, where improvised explosive devices turned roads into death traps, the Cougar emerged as a guardian angel for troops. Standing over 13 feet tall, this mobile fortress towers above standard military vehicles, requiring actual ladders for entry. Its distinctive V-shaped hull isn't just for looks. This engineering marvel deflects explosive forces away from the crew compartment, turning potential catastrophes into survivable incidents. The 8x8 all-wheel drive system ensures this massive vehicle maintains traction across the most challenging terrain. Visually, the Cougar resembles something from a post-apocalyptic film. All angular armor plates and tiny, heavily protected windows. The deep rumble of its diesel engine, combined with the constant hiss of hydraulic systems, creates an unmistakable acoustic signature that announces its presence long before it appears. Throughout the most intense phases of Middle Eastern conflicts, these vehicles transported entire squads through active minefields and urban combat zones. The proof of their effectiveness: countless documented cases where Cougars returned to base with mangled undercarriages but intact crew compartments. These vehicles have demonstrated the ability to withstand explosions equivalent to 15 pounds of TNT directly beneath them, and some units have survived multiple IED attacks in single missions. Today, the Cougar continues serving in global peacekeeping operations, standing as rolling proof that sometimes extreme protection is worth every pound of added weight. Think that level of protection is extreme? The next machine took armor to a whole different century. Long before modern tanks dominated battlefields, France created something truly extraordinary: the Char 2C. Developed in the aftermath of World War I, this 69-ton colossus represented the absolute pinnacle of interwar tank engineering and served as France's ultimate statement of military power. The sheer scale of the Char 2C defied conventional understanding of armored vehicles for its era. Stretching nearly 34 feet in length, this land battleship required a crew of 12 men operating from multiple internal compartments. Its primary armament, a 75mm cannon, was complemented by multiple machine gun positions, creating a rolling fortress capable of engaging targets in virtually any direction. Visually, the Char 2C bore little resemblance to modern tanks. Its elongated profile featured multiple turrets and gun positions along its massive frame, while enormous tracks stretched the entire length of the vehicle. When in motion, the Char 2C moved with a slow, deliberate pace that literally shook the ground beneath it, announcing France's military might with every meter traveled. Between the world wars, these tanks served as France's ultimate deterrent, though their massive production costs limited deployment numbers. Tragically, most were destroyed during the German invasion of France to prevent capture, though one surviving example was seized and displayed by the Germans as a trophy of war. Perhaps the most telling aspect of the Char 2C's extreme design was the logistical challenge it presented. These vehicles required specially designed railcars for transport between military bases, making rapid deployment virtually impossible. The Char 2C represents a fascinating period in military engineering when bigger truly seemed better. If you thought 69 tons was massive, wait until you meet a World War I monster that weighed nearly twice as much. As World War I ground toward its bloody conclusion, Germany embarked on perhaps the most ambitious tank program of the entire conflict, the K-Wagen. This 120-ton Leviathan pushed engineering boundaries to their absolute limits, though fate would prevent it from ever seeing actual combat. The K-Wagen's technical specifications read like something from an engineer's fever dream. Stretching over 42 feet in length, this behemoth featured not one, but 4 cannons, including powerful 77mm main guns. Propulsion came via twin Mercedes-Benz aircraft engines, generating a combined 650 horsepower, barely adequate for moving such an enormous machine. Visually, the K-Wagon resembled a mobile artillery platform more than a traditional tank. Multiple gun positions created a bristling array of weapons capable of engaging numerous targets simultaneously. Its massive track system was specifically engineered to cross the wide trenches of Western Front battlefields, while its industrial appearance reflected its aircraft engine heritage. By November 1918, 2 prototypes were nearing completion, but Germany's surrender and the subsequent Treaty of Versailles restrictions ensured these mechanical monsters would never see battlefield deployment. Both prototypes underwent extensive testing before being scrapped under Allied supervision, though their influence on future German tank development would prove significant. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of the K-Wagon was its crew requirement. 27 men were needed to operate all systems effectively. In theory, these machines could cross trenches up to 14 feet wide, potentially breaking the stalemate of trench warfare had they reached the front lines in time. Think that was ambitious engineering? The Soviets took things to the skies with their next creation. In the desperate early days of World War II, Soviet military engineers embarked on perhaps the most bizarre armored vehicle experiment ever attempted: the Antonov A-40 flying tank. This extraordinary fusion of aviation and armored warfare technology represented a bold attempt to solve one of warfare's eternal problems: how to rapidly deploy heavy equipment behind enemy lines. The basic concept was deceptively simple: attach wings and a tail assembly to a standard T-60 light tank weighing 6.4 tons. The resulting contraption featured a 59-foot wingspan and was designed to be towed behind a bomber aircraft, then released to glide down to its landing zone. Upon touching down, the crew would jettison the wings and tail, instantly transforming their aircraft into a fully operational battle tank. Visually, the A-40 created perhaps the most surreal silhouette ever to grace the skies: a conventional tank suspended beneath massive wooden and fabric wings. The strange hybrid resembled something from science fiction rather than practical military hardware, with tank tracks visible beneath aircraft-style control surfaces. In 1942, a single prototype underwent testing with mixed results. The A-40 successfully demonstrated gliding capabilities, but required a more powerful tow aircraft than initially calculated. The impractical operational requirements ultimately doomed the project, though it did influence later Soviet airborne vehicle development. The A-40's test pilot deserves special recognition. Not only did he need conventional flight skills, but he also had to be trained in tank operation, creating perhaps the most unusual skill set requirement in military history. To this day, the A-40 remains the only armored vehicle ever designed to fly under its own gliding power. If flying tanks seem impossible, the next machine carried weapons that could end civilizations. If you're enjoying this journey through history's most extreme armored vehicles, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell. It really helps us bring you more incredible military engineering content every week. When standard transportation methods fail, the military needs extreme solutions, and nothing epitomizes this more than America's BARC, Barge Amphibious Resupply Cargo. This 100-ton behemoth represents the ultimate fusion of naval and land vehicle engineering, designed to operate in environments where ships, trucks, and aircraft simply couldn't reach. The BARC's technical specifications defy conventional vehicle categorization. Its wheels alone stand 5 meters tall, larger than most complete vehicles. With a payload capacity of 60 tons, these machines could transport everything from fuel bladders to construction equipment across virtually any surface, transitioning seamlessly between water and land operations. Visually, the BARC resembles a massive barge mounted on giant wheels. These wheels are so enormous they completely dwarf nearby personnel and equipment, creating a surreal sense of scale. Its low-profile design optimizes water stability, while its industrial appearance reflects its no-nonsense mission parameters. Throughout its operational history, the BARC proved invaluable in Pacific theater logistics operations, particularly in remote island environments with limited infrastructure. These vehicles could approach beaches directly from naval vessels, then continue inland without stopping, eliminating the need for conventional port facilities. Perhaps the BARC's most impressive engineering feature is its amphibious capability. Not only can it transition from water to land without pausing, but its specially designed wheels actually provide additional flotation assistance when partially submerged, a truly ingenious solution to complex operational requirements. Think 100 tons is the limit? The next machine made that look lightweight. During the Cold War's most tense periods, the Soviet Union created perhaps the most extraordinary mobile missile platform ever conceived, the MAZ-7907. This colossal vehicle was designed with one purpose: to transport intercontinental ballistic missiles anywhere across the vast Soviet territory, representing the ultimate in mobile nuclear deterrent technology. The MAZ-7907's technical specifications strain credibility. Nearly 30 meters in length, this land leviathan distributed its massive weight across 24 wheels and 12 axles. Propulsion came from a gas turbine engine producing 1,250 horsepower, barely adequate for moving the vehicle's 150-ton loaded weight. Each wheel featured its own electric motor for precise control, allowing the platform to adjust height and tilt in real time for optimal missile launch stability. Visually, the MAZ-7907 more closely resembles a land-based freight train than any conventional truck. Endless rows of wheels stretch the vehicle's entire length, while its deliberately low profile was engineered to minimize satellite detection. The metallic hum of its turbine engine created an acoustic signature unlike any other ground vehicle. The MAZ-7907's primary mission was to carry Soviet ICBMs across any terrain, allowing nuclear weapons deployment from virtually anywhere within Soviet territory. This capability rendered enemy targeting nearly impossible, a significant strategic advantage during Cold War brinkmanship. Only a prototype was built due to the extreme complexity and cost, but its mere existence demonstrated the lengths superpowers would go in pursuit of nuclear superiority. If that seems like the ultimate war machine, wait until you see Hitler's final solution to armored warfare. In the annals of military engineering, no concept has ever approached the sheer insanity of Hitler's Landkreuzer P-1000 Rate. Proposed in 1942 during Germany's most ambitious phase of the war, this 1,000-ton supertank would have redefined warfare had it ever moved beyond the drawing board. The Rate's technical specifications read like pure fantasy. Weighing 1,000 tons, heavier than most warships of its era, this land battleship would have stretched 35 meters in length. Its primary armament consisted of naval artillery guns capable of sinking actual battleships, while its crew complement exceeded 40 personnel. Power would have come from multiple submarine engines or a specialized power plant generating electricity for all onboard systems. Visually, the Rate would have created an unprecedented battlefield silhouette, more mobile fortress than recognizable vehicle. Naval gun turrets mounted on a tracked chassis would have towered over buildings and conventional tanks alike. Its ground pressure would have been so intense that most roads and bridges would have collapsed beneath it. Thankfully for the Allies, the Rate never progressed beyond initial design phases. Albert Speer, Hitler's armaments minister, eventually canceled the project as impractical for actual warfare. The resources required for construction, the logistical nightmare of deployment, and the vehicle's vulnerability to air attack made it more propaganda piece than practical weapon. Had it somehow been completed, the Rate would have been larger than some naval destroyers of its era. Its fuel consumption was estimated at a staggering 60 liters per kilometer, making extended operations virtually impossible without constant resupply. The Rate stands as perhaps the ultimate example of military ambition completely detached from practical reality. These armored titans prove that when engineering meets military ambition, the results defy imagination. From flying tanks to mobile fortresses, each machine pushed the boundaries of what seemed possible. Which of these mechanical monsters impressed you most? Could you imagine facing one on a battlefield? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you're fascinated by extreme military engineering, hit that subscribe button and check out our next video on the world's most powerful artillery systems. Thanks for watching.